Hello and welcome back, or welcome if you're new. If you're new here, my name is Elena and I am the homeschooling mama to 3 kiddos. And here on the channel, we talk about everything from homeschooling to homemaking, a little faith and fitness, and anything else that we're doing in life. Today, as you can see from the channel, we went on a surprise visit to visit the Good and the Beautiful. And then I have a quick flip through of one of their curriculums for you. So my son and I were out running errands, and I took my oldest son, who is currently in the 9th grade and will be going into the 10th grade next year. And I wanted to take him because I realized we were close enough that we could travel to the Good and the Beautiful, and their store, their warehouse actually has a storefront where you can go in and look at the different curriculum and actually purchase there as well. And if you are close enough to visit, that's really great to see hands-on some of the curriculum, but also to be able to purchase without having to pay for shipping. We are currently looking between Sunlight for his language arts and the Good and the Beautiful. We have used Bookshark in the past as well, and so we're just kind of looking at what we want to use for this next year. Since the Good and the Beautiful is one of the top contenders, if you could put it that way, for his language arts, I wanted him to take a look at it as well and kind of get his feedback on what he thought about it. So we went into the store. It is a really lovely store. There was one employee when we were there, and she was super helpful for us. And we ended up purchasing a different language arts curriculum for my youngest son. Now, my youngest son is on the autism spectrum, and he is currently at a kinder first grade level. So some subjects he's at kinder, some he's at first, and we kind of just take it subject by subject and see what's working well for him. Another thing that I have noticed for my youngest son is that he gets bored very quickly with one curriculum. So I actually have more than one that I'm typically using with him. For instance, language arts this year, we are using a combination of the Moffat Girls that is found on Teachers Pay Teachers, and we are combining that with All About Reading. Knowing that he gets bored very quickly, we went into the store. We found that the Good and the Beautiful was having a sale or a clearance of sorts on some of their language arts. And so we ended up purchasing one level for him to go into probably next year at some point. I don't think he'll be ready to go into it at the beginning of the year. It may take us maybe like mid-year, but we'll see. He always surprises me with his learning. Sometimes it seems like it's going a little slower, and then he'll just grow in like leaps and bounds, and I don't have any curriculum that's ready for the next level that he's jumped ahead to. So let me show you a flip through of that. We did end up purchasing something there. We got a language arts curriculum. I did go in to look for language arts, the high school one, and we're still deciding whether or not that's what we're gonna go with. There's just a couple of things we're looking at, but I will let you know if that's something that we decide to go with. So make sure that you stay tuned so that you can see the update if that's something that is of interest to you. Sorry, I'm trying to fold this bag nicely, and apparently I don't know how to fold a bag. This is the Language Arts Level 1, and I purchased this for my youngest son. It did come all shrink wrap, but as you can see, I opened that up because I was showing my husband. But I thought I'd do a quick flip through of it so you could take a look if you were interested in it. I will let you know that these are currently, at the time of filming, half off because they're going to do some updates to their language arts. I believe they're going to do updates for their K through 2, so K, 1, and 2 language arts, and so they're going to so the new ones will be coming out, and that's why these are half off. But this is their level 1 reader, so instead of having multiple books, you would just have this one reader book, and it has multiple stories in it. It is in this coil bound, and then just double, like the double ring. And then it says, this reader is designed to be used alongside the level 1. Stories are arranged in the order that they appear in the course book and coordinate with principles taught in level 1. Children should read each story when prompted by the lesson, but may choose to reread the stories if desired. So I do like the size of this because it does make something that you can go ahead and put on the shelf when you're done, and the kids can take a look at it. And so as you can see, it starts with some pretty simple stories here. Really gorgeous pictures. This first story is by Jenny Phillips. I don't know if she writes all the stories. This one is also written by her, but illustrated by someone else. It looks like there are 30 stories in here. So as you can see, they probably get a little bit more wordier as it goes along. What I love about this curriculum also is that it's affordable, and they do offer free printables online for some of the lower grade stuff. But if you can get the printable ones or the printed out ones, this paper is like a glossy paper, and the colors and the pictures are so rich and pretty. It's just, I love this little retro thing. So this one's also by Jenny Phillips. Here's a black and white, couple of black and white stories. As I'm saying, the color is so rich. But on the colored ones, they're so pretty. And so I think that they would captivate your children's attention because of all the different colors in it. So that's something to think about as well. So as you can see, it goes along. It has their stories in here. There's really no big break in it, just the cover page here that tells you it's a different story. And then as expected, they get a little bit longer. The sentences get a little bit longer as they progress throughout the year. So that is their level 1 reader. It has approximately, sorry, I didn't tell you how many pages. If you are interested in knowing how many pages are in here, it looks like 310 pages maybe, which throughout the year, I think that would be great. And then you can always add in more reading and things like that. The back cover page, the red and this highlight around it, looks like it coordinates with this so that you know it goes with level 1. The level 1 readers. This is the course book. So it comes with the course book, and then it also comes with these phonics cards. So you get these 3 things in the language arts kit. So there's not a lot of pieces and things like that. We are also using, this year we are using All About Reading, and there does tend to be more pieces in that. There are cards for All About Reading, as well as these magnet letters that they have you use, magnet tile letters, or you can do an online app version of it. We just happen to do the letters. And then there is a workbook or an activity book for the child where you tear out activities, kind of hands-on activities that they do. And then there is another book for the teacher, for you as the parent, to kind of go over the lesson. So this one looks like the student and teacher is all in one book here. This is also coil bound. And then, like I just said, it's in the same red. And this says phonics, reading, spelling, writing, literature, grammar and punctuation, and art appreciation, all in one book. So let's take a look here. You've got your level 1 at a glance, and so it's going over what they're going to cover for phonics and reading, as well as what you're going to do for grammar, usage, and punctuation. Things like a sentence needs to have 3 things: a subject, a verb, and a complete thought. You're going to go over alphabetical order, syllables, using A or N, those kind of things, and then literature, spelling, and writing. And then it's got different things here. You're going to touch on poetry, you're going to touch on nonfiction, reading and writing, oral narration, sensory language, and then also going to do at the end here, writing letter and writing thank you notes, which I really like. And then art appreciation. She's got some of the artists listed here, and then art concepts such as perspective, shades, shadow, and light. And then on your table of contents, it's just going to tell you how this edition is different from the past one. So I expect the new one would probably have something similar like that. It's going to tell you about the course, explain phonic cards, and then you have 24 lessons in the first unit, and it tells you what each lesson is. So the first lesson is going to be consonant blends, and then your second lesson is long and short vowels, and you're going to go on when we go on here, silent E has 3 lessons 15 through 17, and it's broken down in 3 parts. And then unit 2, you're going to continue on, and it's going to be lessons 25 to 48, and then so on and so forth. And so it looks like overall you are having 5 units with 120 lessons if you're going completely through this. And then at the end, she's got charts and assessments in there. So here's this, how it's different from the past editions, if you picked up a past editions book. Here we're talking about the course, and it's just explaining, exposing children to high quality poetry at a young age, connects multiple subjects. And then here we've got some commonly asked questions. Does it follow Common Core? What educational philosophies does the curriculum use? Does the curriculum include doctrines specific to any certain Christian denomination? That tends to be a big question with the Good and the Beautiful. And so here, and then they also have it on the website where they note, no, it isn't. The goal of the Good and the Beautiful curriculum is not to teach doctrines specific to a particular Christian sect, but to teach general principles of moral character, such as honesty and kindness. The King James Version of the Bible is used when quoting Bible verses. So because the owner of this curriculum or this company, Jenny Phillips, happens to be belongs to the LDS church or the Mormon church, a lot of times people are concerned if this is a Mormon curriculum, and it isn't. This just addresses that it isn't. And we have used the Good and the Beautiful. We used partly the kinder or the K level. We only used part of it though. We didn't go through the entire year because that level ended up being way too easy. Or I'm sorry, the pre-K one. We used that one, and that one ended up being way too easy for my son. So we only used a little bit of it, and then we stopped using that one because, like I said, it was way too easy for him. So this one, we're going to give it a go, but honestly, I will probably use this with my youngest son because he is on the spectrum. He gets bored very quickly of one thing, and so I tend to have more than one curriculum for him so that I can go back and forth, but still making sure that I'm teaching the same foundations. I hope that makes sense. I will try to remember to link more, or maybe I'll show you what I mean in a different video. But I thought I would just share a flip through of this curriculum since we just got it. And then it gives you the items you need for the course. You'll need this book, the phonics cards, the level 1 reader, and then plenty of the Good and the Beautiful library books at your child's level for personal reading. And then she tells you that you could take an assessment. So they have other books, just literature books that you can purchase from them, but we did not, or we haven't yet. I don't know. I'm not writing it off. We just haven't done it yet. And then a 3-ring binder to use as the child's My Book of Stories and Writings. There's a note that this same binder can be used through all course levels to keep it. So you'll only create a few items in level 1. So you can have one binder for all their writings and then just kind of build up every year if you continue on with it. You'll also need simple things like blank white paper, a whiteboard and a marker, or I'm sure a chalkboard would work, scissors, tape, glue, crayons, colored pencils. And optional is plastic page protectors, and then items for specific lessons. And they all look like pretty average type things: poster paints, watercolors, paintbrushes, cotton swabs, index cards, cotton balls, highlighters, pot, stirring spoon, pointer, such as a straw, a feather, a craft stick, a fly swatter, or balloons. So all that is stuff that is accessible still. So then it teaches you how to get started. It has you prepare the phonics cards as instructed, how to teach every day. So this thing is just simply open the course book and go. This I do like about that versus All About Reading, because everything is in one book. The parent teaching part of it as well as the child's activity part is all in one book. And then it gives you, again, an overview of what the units are, how to make it work with multiple children. Just a note about how the findings The single most important activity for building the knowledge required for success in reading is reading aloud to children. So it gives you a little blurb about that, and then it shows you how to organize the phonics cards. After they master the certain phonics cards, they get to color in the picture it looks like. So that's pretty cool. And then sight word ladders. So these are their ladders, and you would have, it has you practicing the charts 1 to 2 times, 1 to 2 charts each time they practice sight words. So they can do that, and then there's a little check on the bottom here that says mastered, and so you can check them off after they have mastered that. Then you get into the actual unit, the overview of it. So unit 1, here are your spelling words, here are the supplies you'll need, books that you're going to use in the reader here, and then major phonics and grammar principles taught. So all this is for the parent, just so you get an overview of it and kind of know what's coming up in this section of it. And then you get into the actual lesson. Lesson 1, you're going to practice your phonics cards, and then you have a little box here. You check it off as you get it done, and then you're going to read to your child, and it's got some questions here that you can ask, and then these are words that they're going to sound out. Here's a story, and it has the instruction for the parent here. Read the following story to the child. Have the child tell the story back to you in his or her own words with as much detail as possible. This exercise helps build memory and organization skills. As the child retells the story, prompt him or her to add in details by asking questions like, which country was it? Was it in? What time of day was it? Some children may need the story read to them twice. And so you would read this little story right in here, and then you're going to read these words together and sound them out. And then everything has a little check mark or a little box next to it to check off as you've done it. And then here up on top, there's even a little space where it says completed, and you can mark that off as you complete the whole page. So for instance, for me, where my son, sometimes it is just overwhelming for him, or it's too much and we have to stop midway in the lesson, we may not complete an entire lesson at one sitting. We would just check off where we were. I do like that they have these little ones here. So if we only got, through the story that day, then I could check off there and mark it completed. Or if the next day was really hard and we only got through this and maybe switched over to a different kind of practice, I would check this off and know that this is where we left off. You're going to read to your personal or shared reading. So you're going to have 10 minutes of reading, independent practice. And here the child is going to write the word for each picture. Tell the child to say each sound in the word aloud first, and then they have room to write it out. And that's it for lesson 1. You go into lesson 2. So as you can see, there's some really pretty pictures. This is the art appreciation part of it, where they've just got some really gorgeous pictures that she includes in here. There are other things where you're going to cut out things and glue onto the pages, which I like those hands-on activities. And so the back side is blank so that you are able to cut this page out. But it is all already lined up for you so that you just open and go. It's very minimal prep. The only thing that you're prepping is at the beginning, I guess, the supplies that you would need. The overview here, you'd want to make sure that you have those. And the phonics cards at the very beginning of the setup of the year, or whenever you're going to jump into this. You're going to use this, it says 3 times during the course, and it's just a little assessment. This would be good if you have to save paperwork for your state and show more paperwork and things like that. This is a good thing to have in there. We have some poetry in the back here, practice charts, review charts, and then it has the time that it takes them to do this. And so again, these are great to have if your state requires that, or if it's something that you just want to track for yourself. These would be great to have. And then I have memorized these poems, and so they can write the name of the poem, and I recited the poem to, and then it has 3 spaces. So who they've recited it to, and then here are some of the poems you may want to have them memorized. And then that is it for the course book. It's pretty sturdy. This is like a glossy kind of It's gloss and a kind of like a thicker cardstock. It's not super, I wouldn't consider it hardcover by any means, but I think it's sturdy enough that it will totally last you for the whole year long. And then I will show you super quickly too, or as quickly, I'll try to go quickly, the phonics cards and what we're looking at here, so you can just kind of see a picture of them as well. Okay, so it looks like the phonics cards are this, the same kind of material, actually maybe a little stronger they're like a glossy, almost plasticky feel. They're not plastic though. I don't know the right words for this, so sorry. But these are the phonics cards. It says it includes 164 phonics cards for levels K through 2. So children in level K course only need to learn cards 1 through 58. In level 1, you're going to learn 1 through 124. In level 2, you'll do all 164 cards. So you only need to purchase the phonics cards once, it looks like, as you go through this. So if you start in the K level of the Good and the Beautiful, when you go on to 1 or 2, you don't have to purchase these again, which is kind of nice. And then the phonics cards include not only phonograms, but also common word families. The program does not include phonograms for single consonants. Children should know the sounds of all the consonants except C, G, and S, which have multiple sounds before they start the course. And then for most cards, children will just memorize the sound or sounds of the phonograms or word chunk. For some vowels, not all possible sounds of the vowel are included. This is because some of the sounds are uncommon, and it is easier to teach those sounds later than confuse the children with so many different sounds they may not encounter often. English is a tough language to learn to read and write. Like, we just have so many random rules, it feels like. So I feel for my babies when they're learning. I understand why this can be so frustrating. So if you purchase the PDF file though, it tells you how to print and cut them out. If you purchase the physical product, you just cut along the perforations, and then it tells you to see the instructions at the beginning of the course book for using the phonics cards with the children, and they've got their copyright thing there. So here are the phonics cards. Look, I like that. So for A, it has, so a lot of times when you get phonics cards, it just gives one single sound for it, but there are multiple sounds for it. So like in the case of A, there are actually 3 sounds: A as in as, A as in able, as in father. So it gives the multiple sounds of that as well. And it's same for like the letter U. There are multiple sounds for the letter U, and the letter C. It does both k as in cut and s as in scent. So they've got these, and you can expose your kids to all the multiple sounds of the different consonants as well. And then we go into short lens here and words. These are the same on both sides. So like I said, we weren't planning to get this when we went into the store, but I went ahead and grabbed it because it was such a great price for half off. I kind of debated getting the second level as well because that was also half off, but I figured we'd just get this for now, especially because I wasn't putting down in budget yet. But for my youngest son, because we go through multiple curriculum things for him, because of the attention span and things like that, and the special kind of things that we're dealing with, great to be able to purchase something that was printed and half off, and it was completely affordable. I will say even full price, this was a very affordable set as far as curriculum goes, because as homeschool mamas know, or people who are looking into homeschooling, it can get really pricey really quick. And so I do love that the Good and the Beautiful addresses that and wants to give good quality curriculum at a decent price. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed seeing a little tiny bit of our trip there. Maybe if we go back again, I will see if we can film and have a little bit more in depth of what's in the store. I'm not sure. I started to film and then I wanted to stop because I wasn't sure if technically that was allowed. So we only have those small tidbits for you, but hopefully you enjoyed it. And like I said, if we go back next time, I will ask and see if that's something that we can do. But that's all for today. I hope that you enjoyed looking at the flip through and traveling with us and seeing a little bit of the storefront. If you like this video, would you be sure to give it a thumbs up so I know what kind of content you're looking for here on the channel. If you're not already a subscriber, maybe check around and see some of our other videos. It'll pop up at the end of this video, and see if you want to stick around and join our little YouTube family. If you're already part of our YouTube family, thank you so much for being a part of it. It really means a lot to us. You really, really appreciate it, and we just want you to know that.